looking, and he is. It is not because he's smart, and he is. It is because God chooses people to put in authority. God places one in authority, he removes one from authority. And I'm here to tell you the man's been chosen. Lord, y'all don't hear me. The man has been chosen. And when a person has been chosen, I don't care how many times you take him off a ballot. I don't care how much opposition you bring against him. I don't care how many plots and traps you set before him. When God chooses a man, you can't stop it. I am telling you that, listen to me, saints. A few years ago in Lexington, Kentucky, I'm going to give you a brief history. I understand what you're talking about, death threats. I led a movement that had never been done in the city before. And you have to understand a place like Lexington, Kentucky, and me coming out of the streets of East St. Louis. And I started a program, and I understand, Brother Muhammad, what you're talking about these young kids. And I started a program in Lexington, Kentucky that nobody had ever done. I had no idea it was going to bring statewide attention. And it was saving young black men from going to prison. I had no idea that when I began to cross that line, that the prosecutors of those territories was going to threaten my life. I had no idea that they was going to invade and check my background and everything that you can imagine. Are you hearing me? Called me and said, nigger, if this was 16 years ago, we would have hung you by now. So I want you to understand that I have faced these death threats, but I'm here to tell you that no demon can cross a line when God has put his spirit on a man. No demon can overthrow that for which God has ordained and God has anointed. And when God has placed an anointing on you, when God has placed his spirit on your life, there's nothing that hell can bring against you. There's nothing that hell can overthrow you, because the Spirit of God is stronger than any force in this world, and you better believe it. Yes, yes. And so I'm here to tell you that I'm going to prophesy something to you before it happens. The moving off the ballot was a setup by God. God allowed it to take place. Yeah. No. You don't hear me. It looks bad in the natural. But God will always allow the enemy to come in and play his hand first when you are called to do something great. He is not called just to be an ordinary man. He is just not called to be mayors like came previous before them, and there were many that were great. But this man is called to change the destiny of this state. He's called to do something that has never been done before. It is an unprecedented move. And the word unprecedented means something that has never been done before. And so, do you think the enemy is just going to sit back? I'm going to put this Bible down because I know it so well. If you think the enemy is going to just sit down and sit back and let him march into that, you're highly mistaken. The key is, I want to appeal to every leader and every pastor here. You and I have to understand there's a new adorning that is awaiting us now. There is God reckoning, and God is calling and saying to you and I, it is high time that we come to the altars and we stay at the altars until God puts something on our lives that will transform our prayer life into a prayer power. It will transform our lives to the point that when we cry out to the heavens, angels stand at attention, demons tremble, and God releases power because we stayed at the altar until we got a breakthrough. Now you ain't got to tell me I live like this every day. You can ask God. Every day at the altar. I went to Haiti, and Brother Franz was there. I was the first African American that they invited to lead thousands of people in the south of Haiti. The same time, the demonic force in Haiti, watch this now, you have to in Haiti submit yourself to be in politics. You have to commit yourself to be under Satan's power, or you cannot be in political office. And so at the same time, we are praying in leading thousands of people and pastors in Haiti. And I was the first African-American pastor that they have ever asked to lead their 2011 year liberation of Haiti. So I understand a lot about the demonic. Are you listening to me? Just 2 days ago, Mary Parks, I was sitting in Starbucks reading my Bible and minding my own business, and an Asian man came over to me. And when he came over to me, he sat down and he looked at me and he said, "Would you please wait a minute, I'll be right back." He ran to his hotel and went and got a book on prayer and brought it back to me, a brand new book. And he said, "This is my teacher's book." He don't even know that God has led me around America to teach on prayer. And he brings it and lays it. The man becomes one of my best friends within 48 hours, and invited me to go to Japan and pray with his leader that leads 20,000 people a day in Japan. One woman that the Spirit of God is upon her life, that is on her so powerful, she's leading 20,000 people about prayer in Japan. Are y'all listening to me? I am looking forward to the day that we will rise in this city. We will come to a place and lay down our agendas. It doesn't matter who has the biggest church. It does not matter who has the greatest degree. What matters is that we come together on one accord and fight for our city. Fight for it in the spirit. Fight for it in the natural. And declare God's kingdom to come and God's will be done. Lay down our egos. Lay down our tradition and say, "God, we don't know what to do, but our eyes are upon you, God. We don't know what to say, but the Spirit knows what to say." When we come to that point, we're going to see God.
Yes, sir. That's right.
Put men like that U.S. Senator out of office. We're going to see God. Everything that comes against this city going to be defeated because our people got together and a leadership and say, "God, we don't know what to do. It's on you." Are y'all hearing me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
And so when I did this program and went through all of those death threats, I had no idea that it was going to take me all the way to the Supreme Court. What the devil meant for evil, it became top story, and God took me all the way to the Supreme Court, and there I still give counsel to the Supreme Court this day. Give him praise and glory. You know, it is very possible. It is very possible that Mary Parks can become governor of this state.
Right.
Are you hearing me? See, you don't know what's in the mind of God.
That's right.
We can't just be Mary Parks' friend because he's the mayor. See, people that say that they're your friends, we take that word too lightly. Jesus said it this way: "I no longer call you servants, but I call you my friend." Why? Because Jesus said, "There are things that I reveal to my friends that I don't reveal to servants." And so we throw around the word like friendship. Let me tell you something. Very few people are your friend. And don't you ever forget that. I don't care how much they say they love you. You better hear what I'm telling you. See, that's why I live alone. But I'm not alone because God is with me. And I know what it's like to walk alone. I know what it's like to walk where I got a friend that sticks closer than a brother, because I have something with me that's greater than this world can experience. There's something that walks with me every day that's beyond human comprehension. And it comforts me. Well, I don't need no woman on the side either. Or y'all don't hear me. It comforts me so. It keeps me in every way for which I need, because he's all I need. And I have someone beautiful by my side, but she understands my assignment. And I am telling you that there are very few that is your friend. And I'm bold enough to say it. And you remember what I am telling you. Jesus started out with 12 most powerful disciples that walked on the earth of the earth. Hear me, Mary Parks, because you're in a garden.